All right, folks, we're back and we're talking about why delays can cost more than mistakes. And basically, we're looking at the damage caused by waiting too long to make a decision. Some decisions I think you should take your time on, like picking the right injection molder and making sure that you found a good home for your product and for you. This is going to likely be a very long-term relationship. Even if it's a relationship you want to terminate after the first run or two, that's still could be a couple of years process.
Yeah.
So it's worth vetting that and picking the right person or the right company for however that works. But there's some decisions I'm talking about. We talk a lot about color.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first thing a lot of people see. That everybody has their own proclivities when it comes to the colors they like and don't like. You want to pick something neutral. You want to pick something that's not going to go out of fashion. For some people into the trades, it could have other connotations. It could, if it's electrical, I mean, there's certain colors that could affect, the outcome. If you're using the wrong color codes, if you're matching up certain amperages or something like that, just basically finding a way to not let some of these decisions impede you so long that you're going to miss a window in almost every step of the way.
Yeah.
You miss a window for the next in queue for the designer. You drag your feet and now you have to wait until 3 or 4 tools get made in front of you that didn't necessarily have to been. Maybe you literally missed the boat getting a tool shipped back over to the United States so you can begin USA production. Maybe you waited too long and then somebody jumps ahead in line you during a manufacturing cycle. All of this can put you behind months, which means potentially lost months in revenue.
Yeah.
So it's really finding a way to, are we going to make a decision? Some of the decisions you make are going to be wrong, some are going to be right, some are going to be inconsequential, and nobody's going to know the difference.
It's kind of a running joke. We're always 2 weeks behind on schedule when we start. By the time I get a PO of I'll ask for a timeline of, hey, when do you need this produced by? We're late already. So, and it's all because all of the design and engineering has been done up to this point. You've taken all your time. You've gone through the extra steps, done all the testing. Now it's time to cut. When you jump, right? I mean, when you jump, it's full steam ahead. We got to go. And there's that point. You'll know when it is. I mean, you'll know when the adjustments are so minor that it's like, what are we doing?
Have you ever had to make decisions on behalf of the buyer or your client just because it may have been out of depth, or maybe they were just like, this is what we need to do. Are you okay with that kind of thing?
Yeah, I do that.
You have to.
Yeah. Because if it's one person making the decision, like especially if it's a small company, and they'll just turn their wheels and turn their wheels and turn their wheels, because it's at some point it's going to be like, it's a lot of pressure. You don't want to make the wrong decision. I'm sorry to tell you, but either decision you make is going to be wrong.
Right.
So, and it's okay. Like at some point, you should know when that jump off point is. You're going to feel it. Other times, somebody's going to tell you. And I've been on both sides of it, where it's like they know, like, hey, we're done, we're ready, let's move. Then there's been other times I've just been like, guys, are we doing this or not? Because if we're doing it, we need to do it. Because you're losing revenue at this point.
A couple of interesting points coming out of this. Number one, we've spent a lot of time talking about the client picking the right injection molder. Flip that around. Are you having to decline business because you just see the writing on the wall, this is going to be a problem?
Yeah.
And
we fire customers all the time.
To that end, you as our representative in the field, you taking the time to get to know the clients to help them make those decisions.
It's got to be a good fit.
Yeah.
It has to be a good fit. And at the end of the day, you're going to find somebody, if it's not a good fit, you're going to find somebody else that it works for. Or maybe you learn, hey, maybe I pushed too hard on this. Next time I won't do that. The next molder will appreciate it.
Yeah. I want to set aside the cost of delays primarily around Christmas for a second, but I do want to talk about seasonality and different seasons that you see throughout the year for different industries, if we can kind of explore that a little bit.
Yeah. Q1's always nuts for everybody. Everybody gets new budgets January 1st. Things start ramping up.
They have to resupply,
retool, new tooling, all their budgets re-upped. So now all of a sudden they've got money for their new projects this year. So that's on the development side. On the manufacturing side, man, I don't know. I used to say there's pretty common seasonalities. Fourth quarter usually isn't great. First through third. First is crazy. You usually see a little dip right before school starts for whatever reason, and that's like across the board. Doesn't matter what industry, you see it's a little dip in like August. Everybody just kind of shuts down. I don't know if it has to do with kids going back to school, maybe families taking some time off. I don't know. And then fourth quarter usually is kind of a slow decline. You really only got 2 weeks out of December anymore. It feels like everybody kind of takes half the month off, it seems like. Yeah. So first and second quarter are usually gangbusters across the board. So you're usually fighting for time, trying to get things scheduled in during that time, get your POs in ahead of time.
Again, we're setting aside Christmas, but some things are going to be seasonal, like pool toys.
Yeah. Guess when that's produced?
Yeah, in the winter.
January 1st. January 1st, you start seeing those come through. But yeah, I don't know. Seasonality is, like you said, like pool toys, the summer products. That's all first quarter. Christmas stuff is usually done in second and third quarter, and then stocking shelves for November, December. Busiest times of year. Q1 through August, see a dip off and then jumps up a little bit and then cools off for the rest of the year.
Is there other market windows that we need to be bracing for? I guess my example would be polypropylene. Polyethylene is derived from the oil fields. They're pumping oil all the time. There's not really a seasonal for that.
The only season you should be aware of for that is hurricane season.
And that's because?
That's where it's all produced.
It's
a derivative of petrochemicals, and plants are down in the Gulf. So if you get a hurricane coming up through the Gulf, just know that prices are probably going to go up, supply is going to go down, and could be a shortage here or there.
I remember, 2-3 years ago, Texas had that real bad ice storm,
yeah.
and we had a hard time getting material.
Yeah, they went to force majeure on that, which is, man, it's not all that common, but since COVID, I've seen it more, hopefully, than I'll ever see in my entire career.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Force majeure is basically if you've got all contracts are voided and it's first come, first serve, they're going to protect their existing customers. So if you're a new customer trying to get in to buy, like it's called polypropylene, and you're not in the system, they're basically going to take last year's history, and that's what's allocated. They're going to allocate that towards those customers. So if you're a new customer coming in, hopefully they've got some. Otherwise, you're going to depend on imports.
What's that market like? If you're having to import raw material, cost-wise, how?
Usually competitive. We use them as a benchmark to benchmark if the local economy's getting out of whack. So if there is a hurricane and prices go up through the roof, we start looking at imports. And that'll level out. During COVID, we did that a lot because local producers matched price from overseas. And that's when, you remember, it was $30,000 for a container to bring it over. So it pumped. But
we're looking at container shortages and boat shortages and long lead times. So with that, I mean, it's going to happen from time to time. I'm not saying to that degree, but if you're getting stuff from overseas and it's coming on a slow boat, you're looking at a lot of capital tied up for a lot of extra time.
Yeah, we've got some really good relationships with brokers that stock, and they've always got a steady stream coming through, so that helps. But when there is a shortage, like a hurricane takes out a producer in the United States, guess where everybody goes? We always keep our hand in the broker economy because then we're allocated. So it protects us on all sides.
And the things that you're talking about now is stuff that me as a producer, I never have to worry about it because I know you have it handled.
Yeah, that's just stuff that happens in the back room that I may, if we have to do a material change, I might have to tell you, hey, we're instead of this brand material, we're going to go to this one, and this is why. But price may fluctuate, it may not.
Let's think about where me as your client would typically get stuck, possibly waiting for perfect information or the most up-to-date.
No.
Doesn't exist.
Get the product made, I don't care how. And we'll get you the information when we can get it.
Yeah, and like I was thinking about it in the early days, seemed to be a lot of discussion about boxes.
Yeah.
There's different box strengths, there's different box heights. You're looking at ways to maximize the amount that can be shipped on a pallet. Are we going to double stack the pallet? And if so, what size does the box need to be to account for that double stack?
Yeah, because we were shipping, we always kind of shipped full truckloads to you guys. So it immediately was like, how can we fit as much product on this truck as we can to alleviate any costs that you guys might incur on that. But knowing going into the relationship, you're an 8-hour drive. We're in the Midwest. It's pretty simple drive. You got Dallas close by. We're up in Kansas City. Pretty easy.
Pretty straight shot.
Yeah, pretty easy. No shortage of drivers normally. But going into that, we knew, hey, we're going to have to, it's going to be $2,000 every time you ship a truck. Let's make it worth it every time.
Right.
So, that's part of that. That's, I think, most of the reason why we talk boxes so much.
And on the back end of things, and I think this is likely one of the most important things we've said today, is that back end warehousing of taking 30 or 50 in a box.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our warehouse. And for our e-commerce site, we will sell a 5-pack, a 10-pack, a 30-pack, or a 50-pack. So sell a 50-pack, you take the box, you put a label on that box. Nope, that box never gets opened. We trust that it was manufactured with the right color and has the right sticker on there.
Yep.
And we pick that box up, slap a label up, and it goes to the end user.
Yep.
Versus which is stored separately of boxes that are broken down.
Mm-hmm.
And by broken down, I mean somebody orders a 10-pack, we go to the broken down pile, we open up a box, we pull 10 out, ship it. But what does that mean? A second warehouse location, likely second overhead from downstocking, likely a third location for bulk storage of these materials. Don't forget boxes to repack, which are a cost, and where are those going to go, and who's going to go get that. And then the time to open the box, pull out the box, repackage it, send it. That's why a lot of times you'll see the bulk prices much cheaper than what individuals are. And as you're thinking about who you're selling to, where you're selling to, those selling avenues, one of the first questions you had people ask is, how are you going to manage that warehouse space? Mm-hmm. Are they cheaper for people to buy? But in reality, they're not, because your warehousing cost went so far up, you have to add on additional cost. It's actually cheaper for the client, especially per piece, to just buy a 10-pack, 50-pack, 30-pack.
Yeah, and that's a completely different world than I'm in, because...
And that's what I have to deal with on our side. And that's a big complaint people have. Well, how come I can buy, if I buy 30, they're 80 cents a piece, but if I buy 2, they're $5 a piece? Because warehouse staff is expensive. Locations, the buildings, all of that
the
stuff
box.
Is also, inherently, all of our core product is considered oversized because of the dimensions of it. And so if we're sending 2 in an oversized box that has to be picked, and with enough packaging material so it doesn't get harmed when a FedEx driver catapults it out the window during the delivery driver in the cold.
Drive by.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of that is actually more expensive than the manufacturing of the product itself.
Yeah, like triple sometimes.
And if you don't have the facilities, the workers, the back-end packaging, and everything that goes into that calculated, plus, hey, UPS, we're shipping out 3,000 packages a day. Do we get a better rate?
Yeah.
We should. That's all adding on to the back-end stuff that you don't have anything to do with. It's the responsibility of the business owner of who's hiring you out.
Yeah. And thank God I don't have to deal with that, because
And full transparency, I don't either.
Yeah.
I remember I'm part of a much larger team that does
You have
this.
dealt with it though.
But I've seen it and I've had to deal with it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I'm all about bulk pack, because I've done the other stuff as well. Not to the extent and mix that you guys have done, but it's a pain, man. And I couldn't imagine running an entire business with who knows how many orders you guys get daily, trying to go back and make sure that everything's picked correctly, get the correct address on, don't mix those labels up. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
People with multiple boxes per shipment, people calling and say, hey, I need to make a change and we got to pull it off the truck. Sorry, it's gone. Because our warehouse is super fast.
Yeah, that's all stuff that needs to be thought about, but I'm not the guy to ask about it.
And I'm busy.
I can refer you to some good people. 3PLs are always good.
But so expensive.
They're extremely expensive, but man, sometimes it's
Explain
worth it.
3PL.
3PL is just basically a
third-party logistics.
Yeah, it's a third party that does all the packaging for you and fulfillment. So you get the order in, you send it to them. They do exactly what we just talked about that your warehouse does, sends it out. But yeah, I get why they're in business, because they're extremely good at it too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They are.
As long as you have all the information to them. I will say that they are. If you're missing information, you're going to miss information. You're going to miss orders. You're going to miss.
Okay, how about this?
Details.
How about this? Before I throw anybody under the bus, they are good. They also make mistakes, just like our warehouse would make a mistake. The difference is, our internal warehouse, if we make a mistake, we can fix it immediately.
Yeah.
Versus 3PL makes mistakes, paperwork, revisions, credits to be applied or deducted. It's so many more steps to fix a problem.
And hopefully it gets to the person that made it, so it doesn't happen again.
We were transitioning out of 3PL whenever I came on. And I saw that world briefly, but it was enough that I would never want to do it again.
Yeah. I get it. And it's taking control out of your hands too, which I'm not a fan of. I like control. And I'm sure most of the people that listen to this are in the same boat. Getting started though, to keep that headache.
Especially if you have a simple product, it's one thing. It's like the problem with us is like we have so many variables for every single order.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine the cost on that one. I'm thinking simple, ship, order comes in, slap a sticker on it, ship it out.
I have a product or two, here it is. We have talked a lot about being too slow. Mm-hmm. What's the flip side of that, of somebody that just like makes this shit like, hey, here's something we need to do. Let's just do that. I just want to get over it. Let's just get it done.
Oversight.
I could see that being an issue from time to time. Aside from the design phase, which look, you gotta take your time with that and get it right, or else you're gonna severely pay. But what are some stuff you've seen in the past where this company or this person just moves way too quick for their own good, or they're pushing people to do stuff because they believe 100% that they're right, but they're not looking at big picture stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just over forecasting and just bringing way too much inventory in. Just bring it in, we'll get it. We'll sell it, which is fine. It's not my problem. It's, but I've seen it where I'm calling somebody 4 or 5 months later, like, hey, are you going to order again? Yeah, we brought too much in. We didn't really look at our forecast close enough. And now we're stuck with all this inventory. We got to get rid of it in the next 6 months. All right, I'll talk to you next year.
Yeah.
Simple stuff like that. I say simple stuff that can kill your cash flow. No, it's more so design related when it comes to like just making hasty decisions too quickly. It's usually on the design side where it's like, that doesn't matter, just go with it.
And I think that's the end of the day. That's the indication that use your gut, find the right manufacturing partner.
Yeah.
Let them help you with the pace of the decisions and to the degree in which they're made.
Yeah.
In the next episode, we're going to talk about how some cheap wins in the beginning actually affect the decision making for version 2 and how you're marketing, selling, and using customer service to sell those goods after the fact that they've already been made.